Hello, everyone, and welcome to the session. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be here. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome to the first episode of this year's Masterclass series for ServiceDesk Plus MSP. So, for those of you who are not aware, just to reiterate this again, we are looking at ServiceDesk Plus MSP version today, and we are going to be looking at the basics of how to get started. What are the important configurations, what are the important setup that you need to keep in mind to ensure that you have a strong foundation for your MSP operations. My name is Jane Rajan Xavier, and I'm a product expert, and I will be taking you through the entire presentation today. Let's jump right into our agenda. So, today, like I said earlier, we're going to be looking at how you can set up your MSP's basic information. So, set up your information like what your organizational details are, how many types of holidays, leaves you have, what currency you want to use primarily across your instance, and so on. And we look at how you can onboard your different accounts or your clients and how you and their respective end users into the application, how you can set up your mail server settings and spam filters, customizing or last mile customizations when it comes to your help desk configurations like your category, subcategory, item, priority, the priority matrix, impact, urgency, and more. And finally, also how you can leverage automations to reduce the number of administrative tasks that your technicians are stuck doing throughout the day. Now, when it comes to one simple change, like let's say a ticket has to be reassigned to the right technician or technician group, what happens is it is a very simple procedure, right? Couple of seconds, maybe 10 seconds or 15 or maybe even a minute, right? If you have to find out who the right technician is. A minute a day doesn't really seem like that big of an amount, is it? It's like a drop in the ocean. But just like how every drop in the ocean comes together to make it an ocean, similarly, all of these repetitive, mundane administrative tasks can really eat into your technician's productivity. So now, when we scale this up to hundreds of tickets, we see that a significant amount of time is being wasted in just doing a simple task like reassigning the ticket to the right technician based on parameters, right? So these are some of the things we'll be looking at today. Now, let's get started. So how do you set up your ServiceDesk Plus MSP application, and how do you set it up well? So now the thing is, like anything you build, right, you need a strong foundation, right? Doesn't matter how glitzy or how glamorous everything else is on top, right? If the foundation is not set right, then the entire thing can collapse. And today we're going to look at the, let's just say it's not the most bright, like or most glittery of things to be looking at today, but these are really important. How do you set your foundation right? How do you make sure that all your base configurations are set up properly so that they reflect across all your accounts or they reflect across specific accounts? So first, we're going to see how you're going to set up your MSP's basic information. So how do you add your MSP details and its related configurations? I hope everything's good so far. If you have any questions or any issues, please do feel free to use the chat window. And if you face any issues with the audio or video throughout this entire session, please feel free to refresh your browser a couple of times. That usually helps out, and in case it still persists, you can drop us a message in the chat and we'll try to sort it out for you. So these are the features we're going to be looking at today. So how do you set up your organization details, your leave types, your primary currencies, and also we're going to see how you can view all your users in one place. So right now I am in Service Desk Plus MSP. So we will be using the Enterprise Edition of Service Desk Plus MSP. And for those of you who have the doubt, this is the on-premises version of Service Desk Plus MSP. We do have a cloud version as well that was released last year. And if you want more information about that, please feel free to reach out to me at my email address, which is genra.john@zohocorp.com or at hello@servicedeskplus.com. So right now we are on the home page of a Service Desk Plus MSP. So we have our MSP called Zilker. They are our service providers. So now let's go and see how you can add those details that we saw just a bit ago in the slide. So first thing you need to do is to go over to the admin tab, and as soon as I click on the admin tab, it opens up a ton of different options available to me. But you know the cool part? Just because how properly or how well organized and categorized it is, I don't have to spend more than a minute or two at max to find what I need, right? So it's a lot more intuitive, it's a lot more easier to read, and a lot more easier on the eyes as well. So we are going to go over to our first category, which is MSP details, and I'm going to click on one of them, which is organization details. So once I click on this, I can see I have the basic details about my main account, which is the Zilker account, and over here I have various details that I can collect. So let me just edit this and show you what all are available. So we have the name, the description. I can choose what the default site is right from here. If I want to change this, I can always change it to a different site. So Mumbai is going to be my default site for this LSP. And I can add an account date, the business impact of this particular account, my address, my contact information, import and add my company logo. I can also customize the login and header pages for Service Desk Plus MSP. Choose to show either the default logo or a custom logo as well. You can also customize the header right from here. So once that is done, you can add the email support email address that you want for this particular account, and you can add the sender details and your domain details as well. So this is the first one, which is the organizational details. um, Give me a second while I go show you the rest of what is there on the screen. So now we can see we saw the CI information about how it is connected, what it is connected to. Next up, we have the relationships tab where you can see a bird's eye view of the relationship of all the components in your organization. And finally, we have the history, which is just basically collects information on what changes have been done to this particular ticket at what time. So it helps out with audit and being accountable because everybody knows who exactly made the changes. So anyway, now let's move over to leave types. So leave types is very self-explanatory. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but you can add the different kinds of leave classifications that you offer. Already offer quite a few of it out of the box, but we also know that every organization has its own culture, has its own way of working, has its own public holidays, acceptable times, and all, right? So based on those requirements, you can choose to create custom leave types over here. Next up, currency. Being a service provider, it's really important that you work out your bills properly and you get properly remunerated, you get properly paid for the amount of work that you have done for your clients. And we also know a lot of MSPs have hundreds of clients, right? It's not just going to be a couple of clients in your area, but it's going to be clients across the globe, across different countries. So it's important that you have multi-currency support. So we can make sure the payments and the costs of everything is recorded properly without any supervision that is required. So over here, I have set the US dollar as the base currency, but I can always change it if needed. So let's go over here and show you how you can add your own custom currency. So you can choose the currency name that you want from this entire list, and then choose a symbol, and then you can add the exchange rate as well, so that all the calculations are done by Service Desk Plus MSP itself. Okay, now moving on to users. So here you can basically list out all the users that you have in your MSP. So every single one of them would show up over here. So it's like a easy bird's eye view for you to keep a track of how many users you have, how many technicians you have, all of it right from here. And remember how I was telling you, we can see the relationship maps. So this is one relationship map that we have where you can use the admin and see how they are connected to. So we can see we manage a certain group. He's connected as part of the hardware problems, a technician group, and also is part of the general, a member of the general group. All right, so that's it for users. I'm not going to go too much into detail at users here because our very next point is how we are going to bring in our accounts and our users. So I will use that opportunity to show you what are the different things that you can do with users and how you can set it up properly. All right, so now moving on to onboarding the accounts and users. So how do you add your technicians, accounts, and associated end users into the application? So I hope so far so good. If you guys are having a, if you guys are able to follow me and keep up, it'd be great if you could like just give us a thumbs up or maybe use the chat. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are learning something new today. Now let's move on to the next one. So how do we add accounts? We're going to see how you can add your individual accounts or your clients, and then we'll also look at the other setup features that are of capabilities that are available, like setting up different regions, setting up multiple sites, adding customizable operational hours. The beauty of organization roles in ensuring that your workflows and your operations do not get affected because somebody is leaving your organization. Then we also have the account group, and then we look at users. We look at how you can create custom user roles, how you can create custom permissions, add your end users and users into ServiceDesk Plus, and also how you can create and build user and support groups. So now let's jump back into Service Desk Plus and see how all of this looks like. So again, I am here now in the admin tab. So I'm going to go down to users and permissions and then go down over to role. So this is the first thing that we will be looking at today. So this I feel is the most important feature right now in this particular topic because here you can create custom roles. Oh, yes, so roles. We do not just offer out of the box roles, but we also give you complete freedom to customize the role the way that you want, so that it is set up in a way that is unique to your organization, but unique to your use case as well, making it a lot better. So here are the different roles we have already out of the box. Some of them are out of the box, and I'm going to show you how you can create your own new role. So over here, you can give a text and a description for the role, and then now we're going to see how or what level of permission, what level of privilege you're going to give the going to give the user. So over here, we can see that it's completely broken down for you, right? Based on your modules. So we have all the different modules available in Service Desk Plus MSP, and then we can choose to either give full access or just view access or add access, edit access, and delete access. So based on your unique requirements, you can choose the options that you want over here. So I can give complete access to one particular module, and then I can give only view access for the others, right? So this way you can make sure that you manage the privilege of your technicians and your users within your instance. And then additionally, we also have advanced permissions here, like adding, editing request tasks and so on, canceling a request, and then the ability to allow technicians to share their request among their peers. So these are just some of the extensive customizations and capabilities that are available to you right now in ServiceDesk Plus MSP. So now that we've seen the roles, let's go over to the requesters and show you how you can create these users and assign these roles to them. So I'm just gonna randomly choose one user here. So we see Andrew. I'm going to click on Andrew, and here I'm just going to edit and show you what all I can do. So I can choose the name, middle name, last name, all of that, the details, and then I can add different roles to them as well. So here I have them as an end user, and so as an end user, you don't really have any of these roles because you are still but you can be you can choose to make them a service request approver or a purchase approver. But other than that, most of the end users will not have access to any of the other modules unless otherwise. So anyway, this is how a requester form looks like, and these are the different details that you can add for that. You can also choose to mark this end user as either a point of contact or an account manager for his particular account. So this is users. Let me just see if there's anything else I could show you. All right, looks like we can move on. So next up we have the technicians. So now we saw how you can create and add end users. Let's see how you can add your technicians. So you can choose to convert a user into a technician right from the requesters tab. And then you can choose to do that as well, or you can come to the technicians tab and then manually add them. So one thing I failed to mention is you can manually add all of your end users, or you can import them using a CSV file. A CSV file makes sure that it makes it a lot quicker, where you can pretty much import in bulk the number of end users that you want. And we also can import from AD as well in case you want to do that. So now moving back to technicians, I am going to click on Aditya over here, and immediately it shows up all of his details. I can see all the different accounts that he is associated with, and also their sites and the groups that he's associated with. So now, so you can also see the relationships map over here, and then you can see any associations, like any peripherals, any software that is associated with this particular user will show up here as well. And we have our good old friend, the history tab, which is the same thing across the product. All right, so this is how you can set up your technician and add all the details that you require, like the cost per hour. Since we are a service provider, it's very important that we properly bill the time for our technician, for our clients. And these are some of the ways in which you can ensure that you stay proactive as well. So that's it for users, for technicians. Now let's look at user groups. So user groups are fairly simple. Again, they are just groups of users that are being grouped together based on site. Could be location, could be interest, could be age group, and so on. So all of that can be done over here. So that's something. So right, like based on these specializations, you can make sure that you are segregating them. So based on certain specializations. So in this case, I have my Zilker admins, right? So not all admins that are part of the IT desk need to be a technician. So we have some admins like the facilities and so on. So what about those kind of technicians? What do we, or those kind of admins as users? You still want to make sure that they have access to certain templates and forms that should be only accessible to them, right? So you don't want your general end users to have access to those forms. So by creating these user groups for, let's say, admins based on their role or based on certain criteria like that, you can choose to dynamically add them to a particular user group, right? So you can choose to dynamically add them to a user group. So whenever user matches that particular criteria, then they'll be automatically added to the Zilka admins user group, and you can use this user group to show specific templates, specific solutions, and so on. So now speaking about support groups, so very similar to how user groups are, support groups are also ways in which you can segregate your technicians and based on specialty, on a particular category of hardware or different levels of support as well. So again, you can just go ahead and create a new group over here, and then you can choose the technicians that you want to add to this particular group. So now you can also assign tickets to particular groups, especially when it comes to escalations. So this way, anybody in that particular group can pick up the ticket if they want to. And you can add a group email, a sender name, and the sender's email as well. All of it right over here. And next we have the group roles as well. But we'll take a look at all of this little later because these are not contextually what we'll be looking at today. So this way you can ensure that you set up your account, your region, sites, operational hours, and your users as well. So now we saw how all about users, right? So now let's go and look at the account details. So when you want to add a new account, we have a separate tab called the accounts tab. And over here, you can add each of your accounts that you want. So these are all the client, you're basically your clients. So these are all the different people that you can manage from here and your different accounts. So you can add a new account by clicking on new over here, and these are the details that are required. You need your account name, you need your domain name, your login URI, and all that stuff. You can add the default site name, and you can also choose what available services are required, whether you want complete endpoint management or just IT asset management for your workstations and servers. And then we have the ability to customize your login page like how we saw earlier. So all of those details can be added over here with your address, contact information, and any other further attachments that you want to add. So this way you can quickly see all your different clients in one place, and also you can choose to add any more that you want right over here, and you can also choose to assign notifications to each of these accounts. So let me just show you. So you can choose what notifications need to be sent to this particular account. So this is how you can add and create new accounts, and where you can go and manage all of them. So it is on the left hand side of your screen. So again, this navigation bar that you see, right, might be a little bit different from what you see on your application, because this is customizable, and you can either put it vertically or horizontally based on your specific preference. So anyway, let's go back to the setup tab and look at the rest of the other features. So now I'm going to go over to the account details and add these details as well. So I have regions. So regions are basically, I can break down all my operations into the major regions that I work in. So India could be a region, the US could be a region, UK is a region. So this way you can create custom regions, and I'll show you where this actually comes into play. So now that you created your regions, next we go over to sites. So every organization has multiple sites, right? It's never just one site. So you have various sites in which operations are being performed. So this way, by using sites, you can ensure that you keep your end users confined to their site. So it's easy to track, it's easy to record things as well. And also with sites, we can kind of make sure that we stay true to the culture of each site by not forcing them to follow one template. So one size definitely does not fit all. We believe that, and that's why we give you full customization ability to change it the way that you want. So this way you can create your new sites. So you can choose one site to be your default site. So I think we chose Mumbai over here, but I can always choose to go change something else. So we saw Mumbai being the default site earlier, right, when we were looking at the MSP details. So now I'm just going to click on any one of these sites and edit it and show it to you how it looks like. So we have the site name, description, regions. So right. So remember the regions I spoke about a little earlier. So those regions will show up here. So even if the region doesn't exist out of the box, you can create your own custom region. Regions doesn't necessarily have to be just countries or anything, right? Excuse me. So based on what your requirement is, you can choose to segregate your regions. Next, we have our operational hours. So these are all the different, the fields that you can fill up over here for your site. And then we have this important, which is a little important. So this way, so when you have multiple sites, right? When you have like multiple sites, like maybe 100 sites, it's just not practical to go and create custom configurations for each and every one of them. Of course, there are a lot of accounts that would be or sites that would require specific use cases, but in the most case, they should be grouped together and it should be similar among sites. So we don't want whoever is setting up your instance to have to go and do it 100 times, right? So what you can do is you can choose to copy or refer to the default settings that you set. So whatever settings you've set up for Mumbai in this use case will automatically be applied over here if you select refer to default settings. And also over here, I can choose any other site I want as well, not just the default site. And if I do not prefer that, but I want to create custom settings for each site, I can do that as well by going and clicking on custom settings. So when you click on this, you need to go and configure the holidays or the operational hours for your organization. So now let's look at the next one, which is operational hours, organization roles, and the account group. So now I'm going to go over to the operational hours. All right. So I hope you're all hope you're all following, and let's just see if everything's going okay. Yes, thank you all so much for your questions and all, and for taking the interest to be part of this masterclass. So now, anyway, back over to the operational hours. Very self-explanatory. You can choose round the clock hours or standard working hours. You can specify the time within which your organization works, and also you can choose to specify the days in which you can count your operational hours, and you can also choose to select specific times for each day if necessary. And over here you can add your break hours as well, and then you can add an exclusion rule for specific weeks, right? So you can exclude this rule on maybe the first week or the second week of every month, and you can add that over here as well. So that is operational hours. And then we have our holidays, which is similar to leave times that we saw earlier, but here you can go and add your public holidays, your government holidays, based on which country you work in, and also based on your clients and your sites, you can also choose to add those details over here. Next, we have our departments. So again, departments is a way of segregating your technicians, your users, based on their specialty or what kind of vertical they work in as well. Excuse me. And then next we have the organization roles. Now, organization roles is really interesting for me because there is this use case, right? What if you have set up all your workflows? What if you have set up all your approval mechanisms and all of that, right? And you have used a named email ID for all of these as the approver. Let's say your one of your C-level executives, or let's say your IT service desk manager themselves, right? And so let's say everything is set up with their email ID to receive, to approve, and so on. But IT's service desk manager decides that, you know what, I think there are greener pastures out there, and I am leaving the organization. And along with himself, he's also going to be taking his email ID as well, right? Because now that email ID becomes inactive. So what happens to all of those workflows? What happens to all of those mechanisms? Do they just stop working? Well, without organization rules or any other safety measures, then quite possibly yes. But how does organization rules help? Now, organization rules, right? It is a role, and you can assign a person to that role for any time, for any specific period of time that you want. So, as long as I am the IT service desk manager of Zilka MSP, then I will have access to that, or I will be in charge of these approvals of those decisions and so on. But now, if I leave, right, I take my email ID with me. But now, when you map all your approvals, when you map all of your important operations to the organization role, then it doesn't matter if I am leaving the organization and taking my email ID with me. All of my mechanisms would still work. Only problem is now I just need to add somebody new as the IT service desk manager, and once they are added, then automatically they will start receiving all the approvals, and they would be part of the workflows without any trouble. So that is organization rules. And finally, we have the account group. So account group, it's again self-explanatory. Not every account is unique, right? There will be multiple accounts that are extremely similar, and it just makes no sense for me to go and configure it over and over again. So by creating an account group, I can just easily group all of my accounts together and make a change for them in bulk without having to do it individually. All right, so now let's move on to the next slide. So now we're going to see how you can set up your mail server. Why do we need a mail server? Your mail server acts as your bridge between your end users and your technicians, and your end users and your instance, and so on. So basically, with by setting up your mail server, you can ensure that your Service Desk Plus MSP is able to receive and send emails. So now let's look at what we'll be looking. We'll look at incoming, how you set up the incoming emails, the outgoing emails, spam filter, and your email commands. So now let's see the first one. So I'm going to go over to mail server settings. In case you are feeling a little confused, just click on the admin tab, and then if you scroll down, it's the first one on your right extreme corner, which is the mail server settings. So I'm going to click on incoming over here, and I can see that here are the details that I need to provide to make sure this mailbox and mail server is accessible by Service Desk Plus MSP. So once all of that is done, I can choose my connection protocol, my authentication type, and all the technical details that are required to set up my own server or my own data center. So over here, you can add your port, you can add your authorization details, and you can also choose how frequently you need to be fetching your emails from here. And you can also choose to disable new request creation by email by clicking over here. If you get a ton of emails and you don't want every one of them to be made into a ticket, you can mark it. You can choose this, click this checkbox over here. So that's it for incoming. Now outgoing, again, you have these details that you need to provide. So we have our different connection protocols, namely SMTP, SMTP, SMTPS. We have EWS, Microsoft Graph as well. So over here, again, once you set this up and add the required details, then your mail server would be active. You'll be able to send and receive emails right from within Service Desk Plus MSP. Nobody likes going to your mailbox and then drafting out a reply, right? And especially when it's two different applications, there is so much disconnect between what you're trying to send and the information available for you on a different screen. But in Service Desk Plus MSP, you can just easily converse with your end users just from within the just from within the ticket itself. So there is no so there is no reason for you to leave Service Desk Plus MSP to go and send out replies or continue the conversation with your requester. The entire conversation history, the details, everything will be available for you right from within the ticket. Let me just give you a quick sneak peek of how that looks like. Don't worry, this is the first episode of the Masterclass series. We have multiple sessions. There are multiple different episodes coming up as well. So just hold on to that and you can see those details. All right, so over here we can see the conversations tab. So I can see every conversation that I have right from within the ticket. So if I want to reply to this particular end user, I can choose to either reply or reply all, and it's basically like sending out an email, but without leaving Service Desk Plus at all. And then we have the spam filter. So you can either choose to disable request creation from emails, or in case you still want to receive tickets, or you want to enable tickets being created with your through emails, then what you can do is you can add the spam filter, where it's going to filter your emails for certain phrases, words, and sentences, and then if it identifies them, it can mark these emails as spam, and it won't show up and create junk in your Service Desk Plus instance. So now we also have the email commands, where you can set up the commands that you want to perform. So using these commands, you can perform basically a variety of service desk operations all within your email. So that's how you configure and set up your mail server. And those are some of the benefits of having it. So not only conversations, but also all notifications and all of them would also be sent out using the mail server. Okay, now moving on to customizing your basic help desk configuration. So this is where we are going to be looking at how you can create these last mile customizations for your service desk without any scripting or coding required. So all of these customizations are done purely on the graphical user interface. So it is very intuitive and very easy to do. And we'll look at how you can do all of it right now. So we're going to see how you can customize your service categories, your statuses and your level, your impact and your urgency, how you can create different levels of varying degrees of priority and a priority matrix that can automatically determine the priority of your ticket based on impact and urgencies. You can create your different task types, you have the closure code and work log types as well. So now let's go back into ServiceDesk Plus and over here to the admin tab. And I'm going to scroll down all the way to customization and click on help desk. So once I click on help desk, the first thing that I see over here is the ability to customize my categories. Like I said earlier, right, one size definitely does not fit all. So what we have given you the ability to do is completely customize everything you can do, everything in your Service Desk Plus MSP instance, so that you are able to tailor fit Service Desk Plus to meet your organization needs. Far too often we have heard of examples where organizations had to completely change their way of working to fit their IT tool, right? But in this case, we make sure it's the opposite and give you the opportunity, the ability to completely customize what you want to do within Service Desk Plus MSP. So here are the different categories. So I'm just going to click on the general category, and over here I can add a new subcategory. So I'm going to put category, test category, and put it under general. Now I'm going to save this and add an item as well. So I'm going to put test item and save. So now my general category has a subcategory and an item as well. So again, this helps me with metrics because now I'm able to track how many tickets are coming into my service desk for a particular category or for a particular item or for a particular workstation or so on, right? So this way I'm able to identify patterns. And once I identify patterns, I can start making continuous improvement to ensure that it gets this entire process gets better and better. So that is category. Next we have status. So we have our ticket statuses, right? So we have a couple of statuses that are available out of the box. So these are the default statuses that are required, and we also can go and create our custom statuses from here as well. So we can add a name, the type, is it an in progress status or is it a completed status, and I can choose if I want to stop the timer or not. Right from here I can add a color that I want and then save this, and then by doing this I can add a new status. Next we have level. So here you can customize the varying degrees of level of tickets that your service desk faces, and you can choose to add new ones over here. Mode basically defines the mode through which the ticket was created, whether it's from the web form or the phone call, chat, or when you were just walking up to somebody to fix something of theirs on their desktop, somebody asks you for a little bit of help. So you can basically create these custom modes so that it's easy for you to track where your tickets are coming from. Impact refers to the total impact that this issue might cause for your organization. Is it a high impact that could affect your business, or is it low impact that just affects you, or maybe just your department or your superstore, and so on? So now we have urgency. So urgency, we are going to, so urgency basically defines how quickly or how soon this particular ticket needs to be dealt with. And next we have the priority. You can set up your levels of priority. Now we come to priority matrix. So now there's an interesting thing to note, right? For every end user, their request, right, whether small or big, is extremely urgent, right? And it is of high priority. So if given the ability to, if we give end users the ability, they're just going to mark every single ticket of theirs as a high priority. Now, being a service desk, you need to be practical, and not every ticket needs to be handled with a high priority, right? There will always be critical, important tickets that suddenly pop up, which means that you cannot be spending valuable time on normal issues that your end users are marking as high priority. So the priority matrix automatically based on the impact and urgency, it can define the priority of your particular ticket. And you can also choose to auto apply this and choose to override this if required. Then we have our different request types that you can create. You can create custom ones of that, custom task types, custom work log types, and we can also add work log additional costs. So when any particular work is being done, we can choose an additional cost for that particular task or work. And that's pretty much it for most of the major customizations that are available in Service Desk Plus MSP. Now remember, we also have this across our different modules, but right now, since we are just looking at the basic setup, we are just going to cover these. All right, so now moving on to the next one, which is automations. How many of you love automations? I for sure do love automations. Automations make life a lot easier because I am not left stuck, or I'm not stuck working on mundane, really soul crushing administrative tasks, right? Imagine just having to spend an hour a day just reassigning tasks, read through a ticket, and then reassign tickets based on what is contextual to the rest of your team. So here we have a variety of different automations, simple ranging from simple ones all the way to complex automations that are possible. We're going to see how you can create condition-based actions called business rules that can perform a variety of actions like sending out a notification, updating a field, and so on. And next up, we have the service level agreement. A service level agreement, all of us know what a service level agreement is. It helps us set the expectation from our end users that these particular types of tickets do take more than 2 to 3 days and it cannot be done instantly. Next up, we have the technician auto assign. What's worse than having to reassign your tickets, right? Like it's basically a person who is going through everything, going through the details, and then assigning it to the right technician. But in Service Desk Plus MSP, we offer the technician auto assign feature where tickets can be automatically assigned to technicians. Then we have the custom actions, custom rules, and finally notification rules. Okay, so now back over to the admin tab. We're going to scroll down a little bit more this time, and then we go to automations, right? Is right over here. So I'm going to click on business rules, and I'm going to open up a business rule, and I'm going to show you how this looks like. So since we are working with multiple clients and multiple accounts, you can create specific business rules for each of these accounts that you have. So this way, these business rules do not spill into other clients or other accounts that you're working with, and you can localize it to your specific account in this case. So let's say Zilka MSP Mumbai default site, right? So these are the business rules that are available over here. I'm going to click on one of these, and then I can see I have a rule name, a description. I can choose when to execute this action, when the ticket is being created, or when it's being edited, or when it's being moved to trash, or being deleted permanently. So I can choose when this business rule needs to run. Next, I can also choose at what time this business rule needs to run. Is it only within operational hours, or is it also outside operational hours? And then you can also choose to cascade this execution, whether you want to do it or not. All of it can be configured right from here. Next up, we move over to the conditions section. So over here, you can choose the specific conditions under which this business rule is going to be run or executed. So only when these conditions are met will the business rule run for a particular ticket. So you can choose to apply the condition based on criteria or on a custom function as well. So let me show you how a custom function looks like. So these are code-based customizations, and I think this will be the only time I will be showing you any scripting or any coding in this particular masterclass session. So over here, you can do your complete last mile customizations if necessary. And so here, let me go back to apply based on criteria. I can choose from a plethora of different criteria and then choose and or options as well. And also I can perform a variety of different actions beyond these business rules. So I can choose to one, I can choose to update the fields of the ticket, or I can do a custom function, trigger a custom function, execute a custom script, or I can perform other actions like a notification as well. So this is how a business rule works. Now, and you can do variety of different operations. Like you can choose to abort the ticket creation for end users using a business rule. You can choose to automatically assign tickets to the right technician group when it identifies a particular phrase or word. So all of that can be done over here. So that is business rules. Next up, we go over to service level agreements. Service level agreements, like I said earlier, you can set the expectations and you can create a load of new SLAs over here that can be useful for your organization. So again, creating an SLA, very simple. You need to add your SLA name, your site details, and then you can choose the criteria under which this SLA is going to be applied. Again, SLAs are completely automatically applied unless otherwise you want to do unless or otherwise you want to give it a specific SLA where you need to choose an SLA based on what you see on your ticket. So here I can choose the criteria where it is auto applied, and then you can choose to either proactively or reactively escalate for both response and resolution. And we also have up to 4 levels of escalation for resolution and 1 level of escalation for your response. So over here, I can choose to escalate it to a specific group or a technician, and I can also perform few actions over here as well, like placing it in a certain group, assigning it to a certain technician, setting the priority, and setting the level as well. So this is how the service level agreement works, and SLAs are different for incident services and changes, so they will be completely unique there. So now moving on to the next one, which is let's look at the technician auto assign. Technician auto assign, fairly simple. You just need to select what type of assignment model you want to adopt. Is it round robin or lead balancing? Then you can choose when it is going to be executed, or when it is created, edited, or both created and edited. And you can also choose to exclude certain technicians. So all the experienced technicians who are there, or in, I would like to say, inexperienced technicians, right? Let's say somebody is joining new to the organization as an intern. You do not want to overburden or overload them with tickets that have been assigned to them. So in those cases, I can choose to not notify these end users, and so that can be done over here. So this way, these particular end users will not be taken into consideration for ticket auto assignment. You can also perform a variety of different configuration rules as well for your technician auto assign. You can choose a criteria for when you need to exclude this technician auto assign as well, and you have multiple levels that you can create. Next up, let's look at custom actions and custom rules. So custom actions is very similar to what we saw earlier, right? So you can use scripting to create last mile customizations so that you fit your business's requirements. So now finally coming over to closure rules and notification rules. So closure rules just ensure that all the fields in your ticket are being filled, right? So you can choose to mark certain categories as mandatory, or certain ticket criteria as mandatory, and only if these are completed can the request be closed at all. If it's not completed, then the request will remain open and it cannot be closed. So this is just an easy way to ensure that there is standards within your service desk, and you ensure that the service delivery experience is consistent across all technicians and across other departments as well. So these are some of the options that are available to us. And you can also choose when you can also choose to automatically close the ticket once all associated tasks are closed. So once all the tasks are being completed, then I can choose a particular period within which this ticket is going to be marked as closed. All right, so now let's look at notification rules. Notification rules are also fairly interesting because you can choose the events under which a notification is being sent to any of the stakeholders. So you can associate all of these configurations to either a specific account or not, or you can just do it as a common configuration. So I think this so over here, you can associate it to your accounts as well, and you can customize the template. So this email that is being sent to stakeholders or end users or technicians can be completely customizable with all the various that you need to ensure you get the right information and you give the right information as well. So this is closure rules. So in combination with all of these features that we saw today, our Zilker MSP, right, our service providers, now they are a lot more happy because now they have been able to set a strong foundation by adding all the necessary simple but important details. And then we saw how Zilker is able to add their users, bring in their accounts and their clients. Then we saw how they were able to then we saw how they were able to set up their mail server settings to ensure that they are able to converse and communicate or enable communication for the for SDP MSP. Then we also saw how we can do last mile customizations on pretty much every category, every little field or feature that is available in ServiceDesk Plus MSP. Then we are going to then we saw how with automations we were able to leverage these automations to reduce the amount of administrative repetitive mundane tasks that each technicians have to do, and this way you are freeing up their time so that they can work on more critical operations as well. Then we saw how we can use the technician auto assign and SLAs to make the experience better, how we can use closure rules to ensure standard operating procedures and standards are being maintained. And finally, we have the notification rules, which is basically the way in which you communicate with your entire organization. And so that's pretty much it for this session. These were all the configurations and features that we went through today. And this is only episode one. Remember, guys, we still have a couple more episodes that are coming up. In case you want any more resources, we have a support portal where you can go and raise your request and reach out to the support team. Additionally, we also have the admin guide, which has comprehensive, extensive information on how you set up your product and how all of the features and capabilities work within your ServiceDesk Plus MSP application. You can follow the release notes to keep track with all the latest, greatest new features that are being released. And we have various product videos which you can use to learn more about ServiceDesk Plus MSP. And we also have a community. We have an active community where you can interact with all the different with different peers, with your peers, and also with us as an and with Manage Engine as well. And you can ask questions, you can discuss things, you can clarify your doubts, and we'd be more than happy to help you out there as well. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be here. You guys were a wonderful audience, and I hope this session was useful for you and you're able to take back what you've learned today back to your organization, back to your ServiceDesk Plus MSP instance. If you have any questions, remember you can always write to me at jindra.john@zohocorp.com, or you could always write to us at hello@servicedeskplus.com. Once again, thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful afternoon, or a wonderful evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you all so much, and I shall see you in the next episode. Please remember to keep a track of what the next episode is on the registration page that I shared on the chat. And once the registration is open, it will usually open on the second week of the month in which the session is happening. So just keep an eye out for that. Once again, thank you all so much, and I shall see you in the next episode.